All right, so I have hit the record button, so I can post this to YouTube. So I brought up the idea of talking about Azure Vaults, and that was met with some resistance.
Morning,
Okay,
dude.
your microphone is like not kicking in. So
There we go.
yeah, it's better. So you're not interested in that story at all?
Not particularly. I mean, cool, I guess. Like, also, it's over.
I mean, it's all over. Like,
Yeah,
it's all
like,
over.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, cool. Like, I don't know. It doesn't move anything forward.
No, it doesn't. I just thought it was kind of interesting, like how you go through.
Cinder Ghost is a bad mom. It is what it is.
I wouldn't necessarily say that she's a bad mom. She did what she could at the time.
So, there's not a lot of like expansion on any of the story in there. There's just like the snippets that come from the dungeon journal and like the voice lines, right? You go through the Azure span, and basically what happens is you get this image of Syndragosa, who is like the guardian of the Azure Vaults, because Syndragosa was, as the primary consort to Malagos, was the one in charge of protecting all of the magical items, and this is where they put them, was in the Azure Vaults. Her story in and of itself is kind of sad. For those that don't know, they leave the Dragon Isles, and then she gets killed by Deathwing in the War of the Ancients with the Dragon Soul. And then she limps herself back to Dragonblight, where she dies and goes mad because nobody is there for her when she dies, which there wasn't really anybody left, right?
Ooh-hoo.
So when she's resurrected by Arthas, she just doesn't. She, on top of like the control that Arthas has over her, she hates everybody, everything. Just kill them all. So that story's sad enough. She what?
She's always been a toddler.
Folks over here just like hashtag cry about it.
Yeah. So that's
really,
her
though. Like, they won. It's a war. All right. People die.
Yeah.
In war. That's why it's war. Right? And then you're like, she's upset because no one was around. Well, I hate to tell you this, but like, they all also died from war.
So dead.
From the same thing.
So like, who are you mad at?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that.
The main reason she was mad was because she was blown all the way up to Northrend from the Blast of the Dragon Soul. She was thrown away from everyone else. So of course no one was there for her when she died.
Yeah, it's common sense.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It is what it is, right?
Toddlers lack when it comes to this stuff.
Wow,
So
dude.
Understandable.
Wow.
Oof. Oof.
You're sitting here talking about toddlers and common sense as mine runs in my chair.
Yeah, as mine's in the kitchen, like sorting colored magnet blocks.
At least yours is doing something somewhat productive.
I wouldn't say that.
You can literally see what mine is doing.
Oh yeah, I've been watching her like the whole time. So anyway, Syndragosa's sad story, yeah, whatever. When they left, she left an image of herself to kind of oversee the vaults, and it kind of fell into disrepair because there's nobody there to take care of it, right? So, the bosses of the dungeon, the tree, Laymore, Azure Blade, who's one of the Dragonkin, Tellish Greywing, which is that I don't remember. Is that a Drakthir model?
Yeah.
So that's weird in and of itself. an umbral scale, which is a blue dragon that got crystallized. All of them have like sad stories, right? So Laymore, for those that don't know, is a little seed that Malagos gave to Syndragosa, and she planted it and nurtured it and then left. And so it was left to its own devices, and now it's all like overgrown and out of control, like most things that get left alone for millennia.
They just exist.
It's a tree. It grew.
Yeah, yep. And there's not a whole lot to talk about that one. That one just is what it is. Azure Blade was locked in the vault. Chose to stay in the vault. Got locked in the vault. Went crazy like most blue dragons do when they get locked in for a long period of time. It's like, yup.
Almost like they're all crazy, regardless of what's going on.
Yeah.
Bro, they're the worst.
Who'da thunk?
Yeah, it's pretty funny when you
Just
think about.
aristocratic black dragons. Let's be real here.
But it's funny when you look at like the things about the blue dragons. They all just go crazy.
Which is
Can we just
which
call
is
them what they
truly
are?
the worst,
Slytherins
like-
and Hufflepuffs?
What, the blue dragons?
The blue dragons are Hufflepuffs, the black dragons are Slytherins.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Hufflepuffs are at least useful.
Yeah. And nice. Normally pretty nice.
Hufflepuffs don't give
Somewhat.
a shit.
Why? Because they're badgers?
Honey badgers don't give a shit.
Yeah. Then there's this Grey Wing character who is a Drakthir, and as I knock my headset off,
Oh.
for anybody who knows anything about the Drakthir, Malagos helped hide them. So the fact that there's one chilling in the Azure Vaults, I find interesting. It's like, hey, we have this experiment that I just want to catalog here, but it's not gonna go into stasis like the rest of them.
Yeah.
But it's also looking for some stuff. Like, it's not a part of the Blue Dragon flight. It's looking for the secrets that were held within the Azure Vaults. That boss, not particularly interesting to me. That fight, also not particularly very interesting. That's about all I got to say. It's really the Umbral Skull that I wanted to talk about.
Let's just
So-
move past all the uninteresting things. Now here's what I really want to talk about.
I mean, honestly, this is the interesting part of it, right? Like, you get down there, and you've got this blue dragon that is just covered in crystal growth. Like, he was sleeping in there, and then the crystals just grew on him because he was trapped, and he went crazy. Weird. Blue dragon's going crazy.
What they do, man. Thing.
So you get through, and Syndragosa's image is dragging you through this whole thing, and you're like, what is the point of all this? Like, what are we doing? And then you come to find out at the end that was one of her eggs, and it's like, oh, well, that's sad. You just sent us down here to kill your kid.
Here comes Oak with boo hoo.
Pretty much.
It was a war.
Pretty much. All right, so
Yeah, I don't have. I got no.
yeah, so we sped
I
through
got
this
nothing
part
for
because I knew
it.
Oak didn't care.
I got nothing.
Uh,
I don't. Let's talk about the trading post.
let's
What a
talk about
fun
what?
time. The trading post or whatever the hell it's called. I don't know.
Oh, you want to talk about the trading
Yeah.
post? Talk about not interesting.
What? This is fun, dude.
All right, so I am not excited about the trading post. I think it's a cool idea. I am glad that people like it. I think it's a cool thing to keep people engaged.
What's the
that's just-
trading post?
It's just not like my style of gaming,
It's another way of getting rewarded for doing shit we already do.
which is fine. Like I said, I don't have a problem with it. It just whatever. It is what it is. Now, I will say this month's mount is pretty sick.
So you don't care for it, but you like the rewards. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh.
I don't think that the rest of the stuff you can get from the trading post is very interesting.
The only thing that's interesting about what's in the trading post is the end mount that you get for completing everything. Unless
Pirate
you
outfit
want to.
is elite.
What is
Okay. The pirate outfit? Oh my gosh.
that? Okay.
Fantastic.
I thought it was boring. I was like, this could be way better.
I mean, it could, but like I
Give
see it
me
as
a
like a
fucking
white
pirate hat.
item. You have a pirate hat. Well, you should. There's like a bajillion of them in the game.
I was gonna say, go
I
back
mean,
to
one
the
without the
BFA.
little freaking skull on it. I don't like that one.
Yeah.
That one's stupid.
Well, that's
I
the
got
only
a plain red one that I'm wearing with it.
all leather weathers can have the tricorn hats because it's the rogue
That's true. You need a
set in
tricorn hat.
Antaurus.
True chains. True
Um,
chains.
I don't know what. I know a lot of people like the flail. The
Dude,
fire
flail's cool. Flail's cool.
flail. Like I said, I am not the one to talk about this.
I have absolutely nothing to use that with for transmog, so I don't really care.
Actually, there's one thing I will say other than the mount this month, which is really cool. I mean, credit where credit's due. That's a cool mount. The reward for doing like a whole year's worth, the warden outfits, those are pretty cool. I'll give them that.
Oh yeah. Those are pretty sick.
So, do you even know what this is, Jackson?
I'm looking it up now.
so basically what it is for like people who it's a mobile game mechanic, to be honest. Like
Is it
there
like
are
daily objectives. Is that what I'm understanding?
it's not even daily. It's a monthly objective, and it's just a bunch of different stuff that you can do in the game, and as you do the things, you get rewarded, and you can spend these points on transmog items, and if you fill up the bar for the month, then you get whatever the monthly reward is. And this month is a mount that changes colors based on the time of day.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Pretty sick.
So
I think the trading post is hella cool.
So
I
here's
mean,
I'm
the
looking at the
trading
warden
post
set,
is
that's pretty cool.
nice, but I mean, it's just rewarding you for stuff you're already doing every day. Want to get the freaking raid boss task done? Go do mount runs in the raids for the mounts you don't have. Like earning gold to pay for your game? Go do world quests. Get something extra for it. I mean, there's nothing really special about it.
no, there isn't. And the thing about like I did the Dragonflight raid boss one. I'm done with that one because multiple characters count. So
Yep.
like you can go in and kill, all 8 bosses, and you still need 2 more. Get on a different character and go kill them because they stack.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Sun Warden and the Moon Warden set, and they look pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's what is. Doesn't that say that you have to do 12?
Yeah, so it says you get the achievement, or you get whatever the hell it is. Trading Post Enthusiast earn the monthly special reward from the Trading Post 12 times.
Yeah, so you have to do it.
I'm wondering, because that
for a
says
year, basically.
account-wide progress. I'm wondering if you could do that on multiple characters, and that counts
Yes.
like as
Yeah,
okay.
like each task
Yeah,
is
yeah,
account
multiple
wide.
characters. Yep.
That's what I was saying. Like you can do the raid boss one. So there's specifically a Dragonflight raid boss achievement. Like kill 10 raid bosses. Well, there's only 8 raid bosses in this tier. Well, if you kill all 8 raid bosses, just log on to a different character and do 2 more.
Oh, so the Trading Post Enthusiast itself is account wide. You can't
Yep.
just go and
Yep.
get it on different characters.
Yeah,
so you
because
can do
your currency is capped also. You only get so much currency account wide.
okay.
So what do you guys think about the idea that this might be a way for them to additionally monetize the game like a battle pass.
I
It
mean, if
is
doesn't cost
annoying as all
money,
fuck.
I mean, as long as I can buy the battle pass with gold, I don't really care.
What do you think will be the difference? I mean, the rewards in this are pretty simple. I mean, it's not like
All of the rewards that they have are actually, from what I have noticed, mostly are all things that you can already buy in the coin shop, or they're being added as drops on Twitch now. So it's just another way to get something without having to do anything.
I mean, it's not doing nothing. I mean, it's playing the game, which is really, if you think about it,
Yeah,
that's
it's rewarding you for playing the game.
right, which is what everybody's been
And
complaining
we have to
about.
remember that a majority of the game doesn't kill raid bosses.
That's true. That's true.
So when we're looking at it from that standpoint, it is doing a little more. Maybe it's getting more people into raids. It's getting more people into PvP.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Because
say.
the reality is not a lot of people who play this game actually go and kill raid bosses every.
Well, not only that. So let's say, so most of us, 3 out of 4 of us are raiders. Like once you reach a certain,
I'm a raider. Just not this time.
all right, calm down
Not
over
right now.
there. Once you get to a certain level, like you don't have to do world quests anymore, and you don't have to burn rep, and you don't have to do a bunch of the mundane like day-to-day stuff. This gives you a reason to go back and do some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a way to,
like some of it's like fishing and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
yeah.
Keeps the game active, I feel like.
Yeah, like I said, it's not something I'm overly excited about, mostly because when I went through the list, just like Lunar was saying, it's stuff that you're doing anyway. Like it's just another thing that you're already doing for the most part.
Yeah, and that's why I say it's really like getting something for nothing, because we're already doing all of this stuff that's on the list for those of us who play the game in that fashion. Yeah, for those who don't really play the game in that way, it's a totally different thing. But like sometimes the progress or play of other people are going to suffer because you have like the classic assholes popping into LFR because that's what they want to do to get the raid boss option done.
Which, whatever.
I mean, LFR is LFR, regardless of what's going on.
Listen, I think LFR is probably harder on some bosses than heroic for sure.
I know LFR is harder on some bosses than it is in heroic. I know it is. It's LFR, and to be honest, I think LFR should be so much easier than what it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be easier. It's the people that join it that make it so hard.
So there's the debate right here. This is actually a good topic of conversation. How much preparation do you think people should do to go into something like normal dungeons or LFR raids or like low level content?
As someone who
LFR should be so easy you don't need to read a single fucking thing. That's how easy it should.
And that's the way it used to be. You didn't need to have to read anything because everything was so dumbed down. But this tier, you need to actually know shit.
Story content.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for, and it should be story content. Which means, honestly, wipe should be non-existent. LFR. That's what I believe. Normal dungeons. It's a dungeon. Dungeons are a core aspect of an MMO, in my opinion. Like, you should go learn a little bit about them. And it's not like you need to even leave the game to do that. So, if there wasn't like an already accessible forum within the game that tells you literally everything you need to know, then I'd, yeah. But it's a tool the game provides. I think the Dungeon Journal should be used.
Go ahead, Jackson.
I was just gonna say that like I didn't catch like the raids until the end of the last 3 expansions. Like I didn't join until season 3, season 4, or season 3 of like Legion, BFA, and Shadowlands. I didn't raid until like the end of the expansion. And the fact that I didn't even do LFR when I was raiding with the guild. I was able to just hop in and normal with you guys after I leveled doing other means. I got my eye level up to join normals, and then I was able to just immediately hop into heroics with you guys, and I would read the journal on the spot and be like, "Oh, cool, that's what I'm supposed to do. All right," and then we would just figure it out.
Yeah. So basically, I think we all agree that
The journal's there.
the
Use it.
journal exists. The only thing the journal doesn't tell you that like add-ons tell you or that like guides tell you is an order, right? Like they don't give you the timeline of events. They just tell you, "Hey, these mechanics happen. This is what you've got to do to not die to that mechanic."
Watch out for these mechanics. Here's how you deal with it. I'm not
And-
gonna tell you when they come though.
And if
Exactly.
you've played for any amount of time, like all the mechanics look the same that they have forever. Like you know what a swirly that you're not supposed to stand in looks like. You know what a soak circle looks like. They're all the same thing. Like they've not changed how the mechanics appear. The color scheme might change, but how you deal with certain visual cues has been the same forever.
Don't stand in the circle that's around somebody.
Yeah.
It's locked onto them.
Yeah.
Don't walk that circle into other people.
Some of it's pretty intuitive. I mean, like I said, most of us are raiders that have raided for a while. So they're just like when I was getting ready to raid this tier and I was watching Ready Set Pull, like when they talk about the mechanics, they're like, "Hey, these are the major mechanics." And then they're like, "And then there's just like these other mechanics that we've all seen a bazillion times."
Yep.
So I agree. Like I'm old, so I'm in a Facebook group. Haha. And like every week there's somebody who posts something about these people should learn how to do blah 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 blah. I'm so tired of these casual players, blah blah. And I'm like, one, why are you crying about it? Like you could make it better. You could just tell them without being a dick.
Don't gatekeep. Don't be
Yeah,
like the
my
Destiny
thing
2
is
community. Don't
my
gatekeep.
thing is I don't mind explaining shit to people, and I even say this in like the pug raids and shit that I run. I don't mind explaining how to do something. I don't, but it's also not my job to know that you don't know something. So like I just lay it out, and I'm like, look, if you need something, you're not sure, speak up or forever hold your fucking peace. Because after that, I'm like, oh nope, that's it, adios. Like no problem helping you, but I'm not here to hold your hand and make you ask.
Unless
Video
you're
game.
doing LFR, you shouldn't be holding anybody's hand anyway. By the time they reach normal or anything past that, they should already know what the fuck they're doing.
Ideally.
Yeah, I mean that's true to an extent. Like when you're running pug raids, that's not the reality, right? That's not it. So you can go against that, or you can not and make your life a little easier. That's how I see it. I used to fight that, but the reality is people are lazy. They're not going to look it up, or they can't read. One of the two.
Both.
Not
But
my
like,
job to know.
it's not,
that
it's
you
not
don't
worth
know.
going against the grain.
Yeah, it's like Jackson said, it's not my job to know what you don't know.
Yeah.
But at the like you were saying, like there is a level of explanation that should happen, especially in a pug raid. Like if you're in a group, if you're in a team of
on top of that, there's so many different strats for these bosses of this tier too.
yeah, there are. But like if you're in a group of raiders, like you're with your raid team and you're explaining the mechanics for like the 5th week in a row, there's something wrong.
You should
Oh,
be able
yeah.
to just walk in with the
100%.
same group. Like, all right, cool, we're doing this.
Yeah, like Jackson said, he raids with me, you know, usually in the last season or two. And he can walk in and probably can raid better than half the team because he understands like, oh yeah, I can read the dungeon journal and see what the mechanics are. And two,
Also,
they look the same.
I can walk in and I can just message you, Dad, and I can be like, hey, what do I need to look out for? Don't stand
Yeah.
in the purple circles.
Yeah.
Got it.
Exactly. Like just here's the major mechanics, don't fuck it up.
Or he'll be like, hey, such and such has cleanse. If you have this stack on you, like, yell out, hey, Roz, cleanse me or something. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. I can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I don't know if we've talked about this. How do we feel about the raid tier?
I'm
I
honestly
think it's pretty
enjoying the
solid
raid
raid.
tier.
I think it's a pretty well done first raid. I think they're nerfing the shit out of it so fast, and I'm hoping that's indicative of the content speed that they're going to hit expansion. Which at that point I'll be a little okay with, but I do feel like they're nerfing the shit out of it so quickly.
Yeah, I have seen they're not
I don't
waiting
think
for
I've
these
ever seen
nerfs.
this many nerfs. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this many nerfs this quickly.
And I think you're right. I think it has to do with the speed in which they want content to drop. Because I feel like when we watched Race to World first, like it was rough. Like they were struggling to get through the last couple bosses. And I think that they realized, hey, we want to get the next major content out much faster, and if this stays this hard, we're not going to get the content. We're not going to get people through the content like we want to.
Yeah, I think it's indicative of the content speed. At least that's what I'm hoping it is. But
I mean, if they're getting the content set up for more people to do faster, so we get more content, that would be great. It just makes me wonder how long is the content drought going to be between this expansion and the next expansion.
That well, and that's another thing that we kind of talked about at the end of Shadowlands. Like, did that kind of set them up for future content droughts between expansions? They have now found a way where they can make old tiers feel new again. Crickets. Awesome.
I'm trying to
Sorry, I'm
remember
also in
Shadowlands.
raid right now, so
no, I don't. I have no idea what the fuck their master plan is with Dragonflight. If I'm being entirely honest, as far as timeline goes.
I mean, obviously
Because, the seasons are they're speedy. If you look at the time frame that they're putting these seasons on, it's quick. It moves quick.
Yeah, so I've got the
extremely quick.
I've got the timeline in front of me that they released before 10.05 came out. So that was winter. They've got 10.07 coming out in spring, which I heard could be as early as like mid-March.
Yeah, I've heard as early as mid to late March.
Season 2 falls between that and 10.15 in the summer, so you've got, the major tier coming out probably the next couple months after 10.07, and then a couple months later 10.15. Then we got another 0.7 patch in the fall, followed by season 3, which I would assume is going to be another Christmas tier. Because this is literally like that timeline they gave us is literally the 2023 timeline. Like, this isn't even the whole expansion timeline. This is just for 2023. So it's like you're looking at,
yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's moving quick. So
you're looking at a July raid and a December raid probably.
So 6 months between raids. Okay.
I mean, this raid dropped what, like 2 weeks before Christmas?
Okay, so we're
Pretty
getting
much,
like a
yeah.
raid every 6 months now. Okay.
Yeah, so you're looking at 6-month raid tiers, which I don't personally have a problem with. I mean, I just got OTC last night.
I don't have a problem with it either, but when you look at the way that this raid tier ended, you've got a potential for 3 more raids, not just 2.
I think it's only 2, but that's just how I feel they're gonna do the story. We talked about this a little last time, how
get the mega dungeon.
Like, well, yeah, we got the mega dungeon coming after the second raid, but like we have to deal with the Infinite Dragonflight story, which is not part of this raid tier, and then I don't think we're dealing with the 3 primal dragons in separate raids. I think we're gonna deal with at least 2 of them in one raid.
Think that'll be next raid tier?
No, I actually don't.
No,
I think they set it up pretty well to say that the next 3 dragons are going to be put off a little bit.
Okay.
from the way that they explained it, at least in game, we're gonna be focusing on one dragon next raid tier.
Okay. So then you think that like the 2 are going to be either the next raid tier, like next Christmas, or the one after that, maybe?
I
If there is one
think
after
I think that the one they're really worried about, I think the one they're really worried about is going to be a standalone.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that I think he's gonna be the next raid tier because they're building him up to be the really big, bad, unpredictable one.
Which is why I
And the
don't
other
think
2
he's
are
going to be
gonna
first. The way, so here's how I see this, and this is totally speculation, and we're a lore show, so we can do that. They really draw parallels here of Iridikron and Deathwing. Like, the way that Nozdormu explains Iridikron, he's like, oh, the deals he made. It's like, wait, what?
Well, remember, there is no old god presence.
That's right.
In Dragonflight.
There's no old gods in Dragonflight, everybody.
Is that a meme, or is there actually no old gods?
It's
a meme.
yes, exactly what you just said.
Got it.
This is like the BFA meme all over again. Quite literally.
I mean, it worked so well in BFA. Why not bring it back for another expansion? Like everything else.
Have you seen Deathwing in the Dragonflight area? What? It's got to be somebody's Worldbreaker mount from like the 15th anniversary.
I love that mount.
Dude, that's a good mount.
That's a good mount. Wish I
That
had
is
it.
a great mount.
High bending. So yeah, that's kind of my speculation on the raid tiers. I think that we're gonna deal with the infinite dragons because I don't think that they can end the bronze dragon storyline and just leave it hanging for that long.
It's Blizzard.
All right, that's fair, but I don't think they should.
That's my argument. That's my argument. Is it's Blizzard, and they love to leave loose ends they can tie on, like way later on when they probably should have been addressed 10 years ago. Kind of their thing. You know?
I don't know. I mean, that one.
You mean like Illidan?
That one seems so like present though. I mean, it's one thing when it's like, oh, we got to deal with the tree thing, and we don't really have a way to do that yet. Well, now we do, and it's going to be a part of this expansion. But like this infinite dragonflight is very present. Like it's going to be a part of how the aspects. This is our segue into what you really wanted to talk about, Oak. This is how the aspects are going to get tier back.
Dude, tier's coming back. Tier's coming back. 100%.
What?
Mind blown.
Jackson, what do you know about Keeper tier? Do you remember anything about Keeper tier?
If I saw him, I might know. Hold on. Tier.
What do you know about?
I remember that guy. Shoot.
Okay.
No, I remember seeing him. I don't remember much about him though, off the top of my head.
All right. So
there's a whole zone named after him.
That's right, Tears Fall Glade.
Yeah, well, you see, I haven't played this expansion.
In my bank account.
That has nothing to do with this
Yeah.
expansion.
Anyway,
that's true actually.
Tears Fall Glade. Looking up Wowpedia. Hold on.
Wow, you really are playing the part of cow today. Got that Google tan.
Shh, I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, at least
Um,
I admitted it, and I'm not trying to hide it like mid podcast. Like, oh yeah, such and such. She
yeah,
was in
read
and
straight
reads it
from
word for-
Wikipedia.
read it word for word.
That's never happened on this podcast before. All right, so for people who need to get caught up on the lore, Tyr's the one who found the 5 proto drakes that would become the dragon aspects and help them defeat Galakrond. Found, quote
Oh, he
unquote.
was the Titan or whoever that blessed them, wasn't it?
He's the one who
Yeah.
convinced them to bless them, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So anyway, there's this whole story chain where there's this silver dragon scale just chilling in Valdrakken, and the former aspects are like, hey, we got this scale from Tyr, and it's funny, and we should go check it out over at the Forge of Tyr. And then we go get some ingots and some fire, and lo and behold, the schematic on the back of that dragon scale is for a Titan Keeper's body.
Oh, I remember watching that. I saw that video.
So this was something that came up. I'm pretty sure we talked about this on the last podcast, and I hadn't gotten that far yet. And Shogun was like, "What about this?" And I'm like, "I don't even know what you're talking about."
Yeah,
I'm not
correct.
even there. Sharp, sharp.
Because you didn't farm the rep.
I did now. I'm done. No more rep farming for me.
Nice.
Fuck rep farming.
But yeah, so you recreate Tyr's body. It even says on like the nameplate is Keeper Tyr. It's just inanimate right
Yeah.
now.
What?
So something I didn't know is that apparently Tyr is like this master of mysteries.
Yeah, that is new.
That's so new.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
I don't-
what?
I don't know. Yeah. I'm the mystery man. I love playing Clue.
Yeah, I'm
Like out of nowhere.
I'm the master of intrigue. It's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Like the dragons are all like, yeah, he liked to have all these like mysterious backup plans.
He's Dumbledore, bro.
Dude, for real.
He's
So,
Dumbledore.
but like the model, he's wearing like a hood. It's like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's Dumbledore.
So
Is that
Tyr
simple?
the Gray.
So- apparently Keeper is the rogue keeper. So anyway,
Shake my head.
that leads into more speculation, right? Like what the story doesn't end with that. Or that part of the story ends with that. Like we just remake his body and that's it. Like we haven't gotten
Yep.
any further story on
But-
that. Now there is obviously hints to what we're going to do with that because we all had to play the dungeon in the pre-patch. Everyone's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm just
What?
focused at the moment.
I really didn't do anything with the pre-patch, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, so the legacy of
Dragonflight
Tyr.
looks sick, probably gonna play it, but I'm not logging in for anything that is remotely pertaining to Shadowlands. So that was where I was.
Well, it didn't pertain to Shadowlands, which was good,
But it did.
but it didn't.
But
So this is one of the dungeons for Dragonflight. Then they released it part of pre-patch, right? The Legacy of Tyr. So it's an old dungeon, and we go in there with like remastered mobs or whatever, and we're going in there to get these discs, these memory discs. But they're not the discs of Norganon because they're already gone. We already stole those a long time ago. But you go in there and you fight the Lost Vikings. So shout out to old Blizzard game, The Lost Vikings.
I love, dude, such a good character. When I played Heroes of the Storm, they were the trolliest thing you could pick, and I did it every time.
That fight is funny because they have voice lines, and they're just like constantly talking to each other, and you get them to a certain
Dude.
like you get to a certain point in their health, and then they like call up this floating boat. This old Viking ship. They get on it. It's so like, what is this fight, dude?
Dude, the dungeons are good.
Yeah.
The dungeons are fucking.
So that'll be interesting when they turn that into a Mythic Plus dungeon, but
I think that one's gonna be absolute chaos. It's gonna be so much.
Oh, absolutely. But you go in there and it turns out that there's infinite dragons in there. Oh no.
No, not again.
And what do they want? They want us to not get our hands on these discs because the reason Alexstrasza wants them is she thinks that that's going to help them get their aspect powers back, and she's partially right in my educated guess.
I'd agree with that.
100%.
But I would say,
so humble opinion.
I would say that those are not. They're not the memories of how to create the aspects. They're the memories of how to animate that nice keeper body that we just created.
Or they're just tears memories. What?
So,
I mean, that checks out that they would be his memories. What else are we going to put into his new
it's
body?
It's just a plug and play. You just plug it in and it's just him.
Like,
hey,
corruption.
I'm back.
That could also go into his new body.
This is some Stone Ocean nonsense where you plug the CDs into their heads.
Or their Persicoms.
But yeah, the old god thing is interesting. That's an interesting take.
Yeah, I know. I'm an interesting guy. No, I'm kidding. No, but for real, like, think about it. Where's the dagger at right now?
With Rathian, last we saw it.
No. Nope. 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 That dagger gone. That actually brings up a different conversation that is also interesting.
In 10.7, they already data mined old guy.
So the current talk of the town is the whispers from the Chromie quest chain.
Okay.
So part of the Chromie quest chain, you're going through all these different timelines to save Chromie in her struggle with this other infinite dragon. They're just tumbling through all these timeways, and you end up in Nyalotha in the time of the Black Empire. So not like Nyalotha where we went in there and kicked everybody's ass and complained that it was very small.
Like in its prime.
Like actual, like there's the elemental lords up on the towers fighting against the whatever, like it's just chaos, just like the old gods like it. And the old gods are like whispering, right? Like you have the Cthulhu whispers that he talks to you in why can't I think of the name of it right now? Encourage. So there's, the Cthulhu voice lines from Encourage. There's the Yogg-Saron voice lines from Ulduar. And then N'Zoth speaks. And they're completely different lines. And they're directed at the player.
Yeah, they're like, it's N'Zoth, but he's like already seen into the future because he's like, I know you.
Yeah. It's like, I know who you were and who you will be. You will turn on your friends. It's like, wait, what? What is happening?
Inception.
So that dagger becomes a very prescient thing. because of the speculation that we made about that dagger a long time ago.
What was the speculation about
Um,
the dagger?
Ask Cow, he knows all about it.
I see. All right.
I love
Hey,
the
Cal.
dagger.
I remember that conversation. That was fun.
Dude, Cow comes into Discord and he's like, N'Zoth is in the dagger. It's like, dude, where have you been for the last 3 years? Like, we literally were talking about that.
And we would talk about it often. It wasn't like it was a once and done thing. No, this was often we talked about.
Yeah, just like
And
the
he's
last Black
still-
Dragon.
Oh my!
So
I
anyway,
remember that conversation. I was in chat for that conversation.
the new theory that's roaming around the internet is that that dagger is an old god prison, so to speak, and
But that was already confirmed ages ago, since that's where Zolototh was.
right, yeah, those of us who were paying attention already knew this.
Yeah, correct.
So when Rathian went in there and stabbed N'Zoth, part of N'Zoth's essence is now in the dagger, and the dagger is...
Ah, I see. I
Someone's
see
about,
the issue
someone's
here.
about to transfer that shit into Tears' fucking thing, dude. They're gonna stab
That-
Tears thingy.
Hear me out. The dagger is now the new Kel'Thuzad's phylactery.
Oh God, no.
Oh,
Oh
no.
God, no.
Kel'Thuzad just is like all the old gods stuck in the dagger.
That I don't like what just happened here. I don't.
Oh no.
Nope, I don't like it.
You will never
Dude,
be
what?
able to unthink that.
I'm dumping that immediately.
I hate that so much.
Ugh, that's so awful. That reminds me, I
Yeah.
watched one of those YouTube videos. Somebody linked it in my guild's Discord. One of those like, this is the history of WoW in 23 minutes, and it was shockingly accurate. It was shockingly accurate. You're right, impossible, but the points that they touched on were pretty close. And then they got to the part where Arthas had to resurrect Kel'Thuzad as a lich, and he's like, "Oh, you just put the necromancer pieces in a jar." And I was like, "What that jar is kind of important." Like, that jar isn't just a jar. Like, that's the urn of his father. Hello.
Hey, see this jar over here? Yeah, that one right
This
there. Bring
jar.
that to me, and we're just gonna. There he is. He came out.
But anyway, that was interesting. So yeah, there's the dagger. That's... Who do you think has the dagger?
Who do I think has a dagger?
Yeah.
Well, if the dagger's gone, there's only one person I know that might be close to Rathian that's also gone.
Oh, that's
That
interesting. That's
also
real interesting.
Priest. So
Wow, that's real interesting.
I
You
take
think it's
is
with-
dagger big chilling with Andor.
Wow.
Whoa.
That is... All
That's
right.
actually a
I
good
like it.
one.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I didn't see where that was going until he said Anduin. I'm like, oh, I remember that.
Well, I mean, that's because you didn't play Shadowlands much. you don't know who's close to Rathian and missing.
I mean, not only, and it makes
Well,
sense
no,
because
I
when you
played-
go back to the beginning of Dragonflight, if you in one of the stay a while and listen conversations, you do get a point where Baratheon is asking about Anduin.
I mean, it's interesting. Like, everybody wants to know. There's also some of those rumors that he is about.
Maybe
Go ahead.
Homeboy found the Dragon Isles before we did.
Go ahead, Jackson.
I was just gonna say, like, I played all of Shadowlands. I went back and did it all, so I know they were close. And I also I played the end of Shadowlands. I know he's like, all right, I got shit to do. I'm out.
Yeah,
Bradford was never mentioned in Shadowlands.
yeah, because he doesn't. He's busy. He's got
Exactly.
better things to do than hang out in the Shadowlands. Wish I had better things to do than hang out in the Shadowlands.
I did have better things to do than hang out in the Shadowlands.
Literally anything is better than hanging out in the
Agreed.
That is fascinating.
like that.
I do like that.
Told you, I'm an interesting guy.
We're gonna have to run with that in a separate conversation later. But yeah, there is rumors that Anduin is not in the Shadowlands anymore. That he for those of us who remember in Shadows Rising, Anduin would go out, disguised as I forget what he called him, but with his dark hair and his grubby clothes.
My Chemical Romance outfit.
Yeah.
He really is an emo
That
kid,
works too.
to be fair.
I mean, he definitely fits all of the stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what else do you guys want to talk about?
Dragons.
Get him, Oak. That's what Shogun said. We've been talking about dragons. Where have you been? Oh yeah, you've been playing The Witcher and Monster Hunter and some knockoff Stardew Valley game.
Hey.
Let's get it right. Stardew
got the
Valley is a
achievements to
knockoff of
get.
Harvest Moon, okay?
Yeah, and then this game is a knockoff of Stardew Valley and any like side scroller RPG ever. So you get like the original Zelda.
No, you know what it looks like? It looks like, so I've watched him play it. It looks like A Link to the Past. Like the first
like
Zelda game from Super Nintendo.
It looks like A Link to the Past meant Stardew. And then
Yeah, it really does. It's pretty impressive.
I'm gonna have to catch that then.
it's got a whole ass leveling system. You got like 5 skill trees that you can like go through and like level certain skills. You level it up to 75, and then you got to get like your skill points through other means to max out the tree.
So what I haven't talked about yet is in the middle of your screen, you can see that we got the Twitch drops thing enabled.
What?
Yeah, so if you watch 4 hours of any WoW stream between the 1st and the 5th, which is tomorrow,
I'm gonna claim that now.
You can claim this toy, which I claimed and it didn't come yet, so I don't know how that works.
Works the same way that the other drops did. If you might have to unlink and relink your BattleNet, because some people have had to do that to get their drops.
Okay, well that's a thing that might happen because I didn't get mine and I got the other ones like instantaneously. So if that's a thing that any of you guys are interested in, I don't know if you guys got anything else we want to talk about, or we can cut this at an hour and be good.
I'm trying to look at things so I can learn. All right, give me a recap of this.
A recap.
A recap of what? The show?
A recap of a recap?
Let's do a recap of the show.
At least he's not playing the game. Like, he's not playing the game. Cal was playing the game and still missing all this shit. So,
well,
like,
yeah, exactly. Make
You
Jackson
gotta
play
give him some
WoW
recap.
again.
I'll get to it. I'll get to
to be
it.
honest, like, they really did not bust the lore open
No, they really didn't.
with this expansion.
Like, we're really-
and I think they learned from Shadowlands where they were like, here's our whole hand early. Ha ha ha. Oh, fuck. I don't want to go back
giving
and
us
do those
something
now.
to actually speculate against and
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
That's actually
Yeah,
really
cool.
enjoyable this time around instead of seeing everything
just-
laid out in front of you.
And then you're like, all right, well, this is probably how this is gonna go. But
Or-
yeah, I don't know. This is cool. There's a lot of different places they could take the lore right now. I think they're being smart and they're keeping it open-ended. I don't want to say it has anything to do with bringing Chris Metzen on board, but it probably has everything to do with bringing Chris Metzen on board. But
It's 100% bringing Chris Metzen on board.
so yeah, I think Dragonflight has a lot of potential to be really, really, really good, if not one of the best expansions as far as story goes.
They're holding the cards close to their chest, like
They're holding the cards close to their chest. They're actually utilizing the fact that they're building on fresh-ish content, right? So like they're not showing their whole hand up front with it this time like they did before. I think they'll do good.
I mean, even with what
And
they
have
have,
a lot of avenues to take, but not an overwhelming amount of avenues to take like they did with BF and Shadow. But
yeah, even what they
it's not like
said,
it was one splitting into 30. It was like 30 different things splitting into
Yeah.
30.
they even said like, hey, at the end of the raid tier, we're gonna know who the big bad is, or at least have a good idea. I honestly still don't think we do. Like we have an idea of some bad guys that we're gonna have to fight, but I'm still not convinced that we have the big bad guy yet.
I don't want
No,
that dragon.
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced
we
that we
do
have
know-
the big guy yet either.
Oh yeah, dude, because there's no old gods. We need old gods.
That's right. There are no
Hmm.
old gods in Dragonflight.
Then we'll know who the big bad guy is.
No, what are those? What are
They're all
those?
dead. We killed them all.
We don't got those.
Ah,
You know that dagger?
Oh no, we there's one that we did not kill, but the Titans killed supposedly.
Well,
Supposedly.
not supposedly. I mean, it didn't have a
It
heart,
wasn't-
so probably
they-
wasn't
they
living.
came out of the earth.
No, it just infected a whole continent.
Yeah. I mean, corrupted flesh will do that.
So, I guess I do have a question.
What's your question?
What do you think if Anduin has the dagger? What's he gonna do with it?
That's a good question because we don't really know how influential the entity in the dagger can be. I mean, jokes aside, like everybody who was a priest, a shadow priest with the dagger was like, "This is my waifu," like whatever. We don't actually know. Like, we don't actually know the influence that the entity in the dagger has over the person wielding it. If fantasy books have taught me anything, it's pretty substantial. So,
Yeah, like
And
Wrathy
we
didn't
all-
say anything.
And we all know Anduin is still grappling with his own sense of self after what happened with the jailer. So
He's not gonna have a whole
his
lot
level,
of like willpower.
I don't
his amount of will is gonna be
think
Or it could be resolved because of what he's been through, and he has more resistance to the dagger.
that
true.
Maybe.
what I was going to say is I don't think before that Anduin had much resistance to persuasion. I think Anduin was
I would
very, very susceptible prior to that.
Well, I mean, he was extremely susceptible prior to that. He was always talking about the want for peace, and the want for peace leaves you pretty susceptible.
So, yeah.
I guess you could say.
It could go either way, right? Like, he could be completely shattered or he can be rebuilt anew. So, I
think he
don't
could come
know.
Back tough as fucking nail.
guess
I think what we're looking at as far as Anduin is concerned, the
dagger in
birth
one
of
hand,
the
Add sword in the other, just dicing shit up.
I
he's
think
an outlaw rogue now?
We're witnessing the birth of the Anduin from the vision that Velen had is pretty much what we're witnessing with him right now.
Old man Anduin.
Yeah. Still won't have anything on Old Man Logan though, but that's a whole different story.
I don't think that timeline exists.
We're gonna get buff, handsome Anduin.
I
Who
don't.
knows? We're messing around with
He's
bronze
back in,
dragons
like,
yet
long,
again,
luscious
so
blonde
it
Yes.
could very well exist.
Trimmed beard, fucking. I'm telling you, he's coming back. He's gonna be a man.
I wasn't supposed to tell anybody. I'm the new model for Anduin.
Yeah, more like
We're gonna be moving from Dadgar to Dadrin.
Wow. Oh, that's funny. Well, let's see. Recap for today. We talked about Azure Vault very briefly because nobody else cared. We talked about the trading post very briefly because I didn't care. We talked about tier. What else did we? What else did we talk about?
Raid.
We talked about the raid, how we feel about the content cadence that's coming, which so far I've enjoyed it. I think that it's been very well paced, like from pre-patch to the release to the tier release. Actually, that's another question. I don't know if we talked about this last time really quickly. How do you feel about the normal, heroic, mythic release at the same time?
Oh, they came all at the same time this time?
Yeah, they came at the same time. I think that was actually a really good idea because it gave people who want to go ahead and push content farther than what they previously had the ability to continuously push instead of feeling like they're bored because they have nothing else to do because that content's not released to them yet.
All right, gotta wait till next month for.
Well, it's
Heroic.
usually only a week, but still. I know a lot of those like cutting edge guilds who can clear heroic the first week and then they have to wait.
I think it's for the benefit of the game. It didn't get rid of splits, but it did reduce them. Which is good.
A lot of things reduce splits, right? Like the fact that Mythic was there already.
Crafted gear was good again.
Crafted gear is good.
Was readily available.
Yeah, and
so like,
and the way loot works.
I'd rather watch a raid team because to me, like as a raid team, you need to be good at the game all the way around. Right? Like outside, like PvE wise. So like to me, it's more interesting to watch them go and like shove 16, 17s with like no fucking gear, and watch 4 teams of 5 do that, and go and split off and do like 16 different fucking heroics.
Yeah. Yep.
Like it made the race to world first more engaging in my opinion, because you were like, oh shit, now they're actually like
there's actually content that matters. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that means you're getting more loot, right?
Right.
So like they're actually racing. They really are, because they're having to push this content without any gear. And I think that's way more interesting than fucking watching them clear heroic with their eyes closed.
Yeah, they literally put everybody on equal footing for the race to world first and everything else. And that,
well, I mean, listen, I obviously I'm not a race to world first guy. Like that's never going to be a level of play that I have, but like time zones exist. Like you can give me this whole, they don't release at the same time. Well, somebody's going to be sleeping when that releases.
Yeah, but like the elite gamers, come on, bro. That's not true.
I'm not.
Like,
you're right.
2 days, there's not going to be any sleep. So
it's fair. But I mean,
like,
so here's
personally, I don't think it's ever going to be fair until we have one facility where we bring the top 5 teams and they all perform at the same time under the same internet with the same
conditions.
It's not going to be fair, right?
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing: we could realistically just drop all the content at the same time, and since they don't, the teams obviously don't care about sleep because they cry about it, and that's really what matters, right? So if you want to cry about it, great. Now you're getting up at 3 a.m. to start raiding.
Right. Your schedule has shifted.
Welcome to the global launch.
I honestly have no sympathy for anybody who complains about not getting sleep. I get an hour of sleep a day if I'm lucky. So you want to complain about no sleep? Fuck off.
Well, I mean, like this was a big topic of conversation at the end of the race, right? Like the nerfs to Razageth went out an hour before Liquid was even online, and everyone's like, "Oh, they should have got up early." It's like, okay, well, I mean, they could have dropped the updates when both teams were pulling. I mean, it's like whatever.
What is this whole thing? They're saying, "Hey, they need to let." It doesn't matter if the race drags on. I don't care.
Right.
Now they definitely did because it was Christmas time, and that's Blizzard's. That's a whole nother problem.
Right.
But realistically, what Blizzard needs to do is have at least a 12-hour notice before a nerf comes. They have to start being more transparent with these race to world first races as they become more and more integrated with Blizzard, as they are doing more and more every single time they have one.
Well, and that's the other part of the argument of that particular nerf, right? Like they
12
knew
hours,
they knew that
we're
nerf was
making
coming. They just didn't know
we don't even
when.
need to see what the changes are.
But like
Like,
they
that's
knew that nerf was
super
coming.
nice.
Both teams knew that nerf was coming. They just didn't know when, and that was the issue.
And exactly, that's the problem. They need to know when it's gonna drop. If they had if Liquid had known it was gonna drop at the time it was gonna drop,
They would have started earlier.
Oh shit. Okay, great. You know what? Let's cut out 2 hours earlier instead
Yep.
of pushing right here. Let's get more sleep so we're here right when that nerf comes through. Once that nerf comes through, all right, we're on equal
Damn.
footing.
Well, and
It
then
would be more transparent. These problems wouldn't fucking happen. But
Yeah.
as Blizzard loves to do is stuff a fucking sock in their mouth and pretend that they don't know shit.
yeah,
Okay? They
What?
love to do it. And I have no idea why. It's crazy. Dude, Square Enix they're
Yeah.
more open than a US gaming company.
yeah.
Boom.
But the other part of that, like, everyone was like, "Oh, well, once that nerf dropped, Echo killed it the very next pull, and it took Liquid from the time they started pulling 3 hours." I'm like, "Yeah, but the race is over.
They have no motivation.
Like, there's no
Like, who
reason."
at that
Yeah,
point- At that point, they're guaranteed second, right?
Yeah,
like, they know
exactly.
that. No
Yeah.
one's close. They're gonna fucking get it at some point that day.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone watched after the race was over, like what they were doing, but THD was sitting there fucking around half.
Yep. Absolutely.
I love THD. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I literally will stare at THD the entire time he's on the screen because he's doing weird shit all the time.
It's a
I
weird
love it.
dude. It's a weird dude.
He eats candy bars out of a bowl. Who the fuck does that?
And a spoon.
And with this dude, great. Oh my! It makes you wonder. Like, is this scripted? Like, is this man? Is it? And then you see him on Twitter. You're like, nope, that's
Nope,
just him.
that's him. Yep.
That's him. He's. Oh man. And actually, you know what? Let's take a moment for my boy now. Okay. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's retiring from the Race to World First. I don't blame him, but rest in peace, the king.
So for people who don't know,
Because of splits.
yeah,
Blizzard.
yeah. So for those who don't know, now is one of the tanks for like 8 straight world firsts, right? Like he bounced back and forth at one point. So 6, yeah. So he has been on 6 straight.
No, it's not 6. I think it's 5.
It's all the way back to Nyalotha or Eternal Palace.
Eternal Palace was the last one Max tanked.
Okay.
When Max stepped down, they brought Now in.
So Eternal
And then
Palace.
they won Nyalotha.
Yeah.
with-
Nyalotha.
Because after Ashara, Max was like, yo, fuck tanking
Yeah.
and raiding.
Yep.
Like, You can't see shit. I'm behind these fucking pillars or this fucking giant serpent
Yeah,
bitch.
tanking
see
and raid
nothing.
leading is hard as fucking hell.
I
I've
think
done
it's
it.
the worst place to be. Tanking and melee DPS are the 2 worst positions you can play in raid lead.
I agree. I have people who disagree with me, but whatever.
I mean, I don't. To whoever disagrees, you just don't have fucking eyes. That's really what it is. Because like,
That really is what it comes down
I'm
to. You know, you
range,
can have
I
the
can
timer
see
all you
literally
want.
what the entire raid is doing. If
Yeah.
I'm ranged,
Yep.
I can see the whole raid. Even if I'm max ranged out on my tank or melee, I'm still gonna clip people. I'm still even gonna clip mechanics. Like y'all done Kurog? That shit's all the way back like
Yeah.
in Alaska, bro.
Yeah.
Like you're
Oh my
sprinting.
fucking god! Don't get me
And
started on that
if the
fight.
boss is faced where he's supposed to face, your back's turned to those. So no. Whoever thinks Warrior's wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah, no, tanking and raid leading at the same time is fucking horrible. You've got the
Round,
timers.
find
That's
out.
about it. You can't see who's got what. You can't do shit except for pay attention to that boss.
I just want a clip of that. If you think I'm wrong, you're wrong. That So yeah. But yeah, so now giving up on the Race to World First. He is still in the MDI. I saw that he's got some time trial
No,
times.
he's focusing on Mythic Plus and pumping out guides and content. But yeah, he's retiring because of fucking splits, dude. He's like,
Dude, I don't blame
it's
him.
fucking it's 3 to 4 months of prep work for 2 weeks of fun. I'm like, dude,
It's not even 2 weeks of fun.
like honestly, like
It's like
now
4 days of fun.
He finds it fun, right? Like,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, there are parts of it can't be 2 weeks of fun. If he hates splits, that's literally like a week's worth of content.
this tier though.
But yeah,
I mean, he's talked about it before. Like we know.
I'm just saying.
We know what's going on, right?
When
like, we already knew.
Yeah, when you think about Race to World First, you can take half of the time it takes to complete the tier. So if that tier is, 3 days to 3 weeks. Half of that time is split runs.
I mean, yeah, but
and that sucks. If that's what you hate, that's not fun time. That's chore time.
Maybe it's more fun when the competition is live, right?
Maybe it's more fun when it's like the first couple times, like, oh, this actually has an impact, as opposed to, here we go again. We're going on our 40th split run.
Yeah. Hey, Liquid, if you're listening, hire me for your split run.
Hey, you looking for someone? I'm available.
I'll do it. Don't tempt me.
Listen, if you can do it, you should do it. That's all I gotta say. That's what I say about anybody who wants to do any level of content. If you've got the time and the desire, get it. Just get it.
Because it is entirely possible, but you do have to put in time if you want to be decent at this game. It's just what it is.
Yeah,
it's been around 20 years. You can be good at it in 5 minutes.
Which, I mean, that goes back to the conversation we were talking about earlier. Like, how much preparation should you have to put into doing certain levels of content? And I've said this like a bazillion times. Like, when you're in the starting levels of content, I don't think that you should have to put in hours upon hours of research. But when you are at the highest level of the content, then yeah, you have to put in effort.
I mean, we're having like tank meetings, healer meetings, tank and healer meetings for Kurog. Like,
fuck them DPS.
That's really how. I mean, yeah, pretty much. Fuck.
I mean, listen, DPS is not hard. That's why I play DPS. I literally have to show up and push buttons, like, for real.
Don't stand in front of the boss. Hit things.
And the healers are the sheep shearers, and tanks are the shepherds. Okay, that's how this works.
Yeah.
DPS are sheeple. The boss moves, they move. It's reactionary. They don't even fucking think, dude. There's nothing up there.
Yeah. No.
It's just
now I will say this. I know a lot of people who complain about melee DPS always being in front of the boss, and me, in my rogue brain, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Why are you even up there?
Like, what in God's green earth are you doing in front of the boss? Like, you have no business up there.
Would you be there?
Well, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. I'm sitting there and I'm beating the shit out of something, and I know a cleave's coming, and I'm just looking at somebody like, you gonna move? You just gonna stand there? Just gonna take that in the face?
Stress enough how much I hate.
There, Owen's there, pal. You gotta get.
Nope. Yeah. Yep.
Dead. I'm like, all right, go.
Yeah, like,
I'm not moving.
I cannot stress how much I hate when somebody is standing next to me, or in front of me, or behind me. It's like,
dude, it doesn't make any sense.
You want to get hit by the tank buster? Get hit by the tank buster.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
You're gonna die.
You're gonna die, bitch.
Yeah,
and
like you were talking
DPS
about.
is no DPS.
That's
so
right.
Fuck you.
Yep. Right on.
Yeah, like you were talking about, like you don't gotta put in the time to get good, but like you don't have to put in that much effort. Like look at Carbon. He's only got back into the game like what, a week and a half ago? He just said he's 350.
Dude, I will say this about this expansion. Getting caught up is so easy.
Yep.
It is.
Definitely stop for a moment and talk about the luck on Vaults this tier.
It sucks.
What are you talking about? It was great.
No, it wasn't. I still don't have.
Was.
I still don't have 4-piece because I can't get legs to drop. I am not even joking. I can't get legs to drop out of a dungeon. I can't get legs to drop out of the raid. I can't get anything to drop out of the vault. Like, everyone's like, oh, you should have 4-piece. If you're not, you're a lazy piece of shit. And I'm like, I literally can't get the drop.
I'm not calling anybody who doesn't have 4-piece a lazy piece. 4-piece a lazy piece of
you
shit.
Have no. You
and
have
again,
no.
I had
like how big of a DPS upgrade is the 4-piece percentage?
It's at least a 1%, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but
It's really not.
listen.
A
You're
lazy,
right.
Mediocre rogue.
Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here. Listen. So here's the thing. I
Play rep, bro.
don't wear 3 pieces of tier because it does like I can get a better chest piece without a 4 set, but with the 4 set, that's the difference. I can get a bigger upgrade in damage with a 4
Your
set.
sparks to upgrade whatever pair of pants you got, dude.
They're world
What
drop
level are your
pants,
pants
man.
now? What eye level are the pants?
395, I think.
Turn them into tier, dude.
I can't.
Yeah.
You're gonna get.
I literally
Wait, you
can't. It's a world drop pair of pants. That's what I'm telling you. They're fucking Otakide breeches or whatever the fuck they're called.
With the 385 like fucking primal storm pants be better if you turn those into tier, because you can turn those into tier.
That I'd have to look at. I'd have to do that. But
Here I am coming up with solutions.
I don't. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like that's why I haven't run LFR. I don't think lower eye level pants make a difference. Like I don't
What
think.
I understand when it comes to the tier set, it does actually make a difference, regardless of whether it's the lowest level that you can get or the highest level that you can get.
It depends on
It
your
does
4
make a
set though,
difference.
right? Like the actual
Yeah.
bonus.
It does depend on the set. Honestly, Paladin's got a pretty strong 4 set across.
I mean, I've been running 4 set since what, week 2?
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. My warrior has 4 set. Like he's good.
It's just you've not been able to get pants.
Right.
So
So
it's you, dude.
yes, it does suck to be me sometimes.
Really does.
But AOTC, let's go. For those who don't know, I am raiding with Oak's Guild, actually. Not where I got AOTC, but I hung out with his blue team, as they're called, this week, Wednesday and Thursday.
Fuck it.
Dude,
Even.
so they're starting a second they're starting a second AOTC group that'll dabble in Mythic, and I'm actually looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Ooh, gonna dabble in Mythic?
Listen, I've dabbled in Mythic the last few tiers.
You dabbled in Mythic.
Yeah,
Mythic.
yeah.
Mythith?
Mythic.
Dude, with these nerfs, we got a late start, but with these nerfs, keep rolling nerfs like probably gonna.
But yeah, so I told Oak this. I had to lower my expectation for what that team was, because like I was looking for a group that does AOTC at a little faster pace than what I'm used to. And they do. They're 7 of 8. They're going faster than my guild, which is, good. But mechanics be damned. They would be AOTC if there were. Dude,
They don't farm well.
they.
That's the problem.
Oh my
Farm well.
god, it was. We're doing Taros,
Be
dude.
okay. They just don't farm well. They just really don't give.
Yeah, they. It was interesting to say the least.
Everyone's a DPS. Got it.
I mean that.
Mechanics be damned.
I don't know how many times we lost half the raid to something like easily avoidable. We still killed the boss. Don't get me wrong; those of us who are alive still managed to get it done. But like, damn.
Was it better with Chris there?
No,
Oh,
because Leo still led the raid when Chris was there.
yeah. I think Salem talked to him
Uh,
after Bird Keeper.
I mean, again, it's not that the explanations and the leading was bad. Like that was fine. Like call outs, whatever. That's what I expect from a typical heroic team. It's just like some people just don't do mechanics, man. Just wow. And then you guys came in. Well, the red team came in for the Broodkeeper kill. And something happened, and Leo's like, okay, wipe it. And we literally lost like 2 people. And Crazy Puck's like, what are you talking about? Let's go. But since Leo had called a wipe, like since Leo had called a wipe, a bunch of people then just died, and we still could have killed it. Crazy's like, that is the dumbest call I've heard. Like, what are you talking about? Let it play out. So, anyway, that's
yeah, it's not like you're running 10 people where 2 people die and it's fucking the end of the world.
yeah.
Right? Like,
We literally had almost a full raid once they came in. I mean, the lag was real.
That's funny.
So yeah, that's an update on what I'm doing. But I think we're gonna call it there. I think we're good. Thank you, Lunar Phase Gaming and JustOhk and Korora for joining us today. There is a goal with this show to happen once a month. So far, we haven't quite met that goal, but that is a thing that Oak and I have talked about it at a minimum, about having something out there once a month. But life does happen. Like this particular show was supposed to happen like 3 weeks ago, so we're gonna get there eventually. We're gonna get back on some sort of regular schedule.
maybe in the future.
Yeah,
sometime
in the future. But
TM.
soon TM. That's funny because I used that joke on you this week. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. We'll be around. Obviously, I'll put stuff out on Twitter and on my personal stream. You can catch most of us streaming something at some point, sometimes. So, with that, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for hanging out. Peace.